Hey y'all, I got an anime channel called MysticSage, where I do anime top 10s, speculations, and more. You can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch to keep up to date with me, the channel, and even for some entertainment. Links will be in the description below. Thanks guys, enjoy the video. So the day has finally come. Today is Pokemon Sword and Shield's release day. By now I'm sure most of you have started playing, as I know I definitely have. But obviously these videos are done in advance. So before we start going in on these post-release Gen 8 videos, I want to give you all my final thoughts and opinions on Sword and Shield. Basically, I'm just going to be going over everything that we've officially seen and heard, and give you all my thoughts on them. We did a video like this about 2 months ago, but I've gotten a lot more information since then. So I'll try to focus mainly on the new stuff. I'm also not going to be covering leaks, don't talk about it in the comment section. Thank you. So yeah, with that being said, I think you all pretty much understand what's up with this video, so we're just gonna hop into it. So when it comes to the Pokemon of Galar, I'm going to keep it a little short as we only have had 2 additional Pokemon revealed since the last time I did one of these videos, being Sirfetch'd and Galarian Ponyta. What I will say though, from what Game Freak has revealed to us, Pokemon Sword and Shield are shaping up to be some of the best Pokemon games when it comes to the creatures' designs. In my personal opinion, there hasn't been a single bad design yet. They're all just really good. I mean, all the starters have such great designs that I have been back and forth between all of them for the one I want to use in my initial playthrough. I ended up picking Scorbunny, but Grookey and Sobble are so good as well. I just might have to play the game 3 times so I can use all the starters. You also have incredibly cute Pokemon like Alcremie, Yamper, and Wooloo, super awesome Pokemon like Corviknight, Duraludon, and Obstagoon, and the extremely interesting designs like Impidimp and Galarian Weezing. Honestly, these games will have so much replayability just for the amazing variety of Pokemon they have to offer. So I'm really looking forward to the surprise Game Freak have in store for us upon release. With that out of the way, now I'll give my full opinions on the 2 Pokemon I haven't talked about yet. It's finally happened. Everyone's hopes and dreams have been answered. Farfetch'd has finally received an evolution. Sirfetch'd is pretty much all you could ask for in a Farfetch'd evolution. It's just so cool and gives off this awesome smug aura. Although since it's fighting type, I do wonder if it's going to evolve from a regular Farfetch'd, or if there will be a Galarian Farfetch'd that bears the fighting type as well. No matter what the case is, we can see the end result, and I gotta say it's a fantastic one. This is honestly one, if not the cutest Pokemon ever made. Galarian Ponyta is just the best in my opinion, but I'm sure you all know this by now. I feel like since its reveal, I've talked about it in videos at least once a week. Sorry about that. I just can't help myself. I feel it's just that good of a Pokemon. While that 24-hour live stream felt like a big waste for the most part, at the end of the day, it gave us this magnificent creature, so I'm grateful for that. Again, I'm imagining that Alicorn Rapidash, and this has me so hyped up. I hope it doesn't take too long to reach Glenwood Tangle, because I'm going to need Galarian Ponyta on my team as soon as possible once I start playing. Moving on, we of course have to talk about the main feature of these games being Dynamax and Gigantamax, and there's a lot to talk about here. Now again, we still haven't been told what Dynamax levels are just yet, and I can't really imagine what they would be other than just the higher the Dynamax level the stronger your Pokemon is once it uses Dynamax. I feel like there's probably more to it than that, since it hasn't really been talked about, but I really can't imagine what else it could do. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully it's something cool, as I'm still pretty lukewarm on this playing Dynamaxing. As for Gigantamax, we got quite a few new ones to talk about. Now people were pretty upset about this initially because they were all Kanto Pokemon, but I think even with those, we're still going to have a decent amount of Gigantamax Pokemon from other regions. So I think the outrage is a little ridiculous personally. With that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and get into my thoughts on the new ones. So yeah, as you all know, I was a huge Charizard hater for a while, but eventually I softened up to the big fire lizard, and this Gigantamax form was no exception. It's just so cool. I even considered using it on my team for a little bit. It just has this primal look to it with its glowing eyes, wings of fire, and its rugged stomach patterns. I get it, Charizard is a Pokemon that gets a lot of forms, but at the end of the day, they all end up looking super cool, so I honestly can't be mad at that. Although if they're going to be showing Charizard a lot of love, I would hope that Blastoise and Venusaur would get the same. I certainly hope that this is the case, as I think they would have pretty incredible designs. You all know how long I've been waiting for Butterfree to get some love, and I couldn't be happier to be honest. This Gigantamax Butterfree is pretty much everything I would have hoped for in a Mega. With that said, I do wish this would have been a Mega evolution, as it seems Gigantamax Pokemon aren't changing their types, and I would have loved to see Butterfree be Bug Psychic. Even with that small nitpick, I still love Gigantamax Butterfree with all my heart. Plus that G-Max move is top notch. I love this chunk. Gigantamax Pikachu is so reminiscent of its original look, I don't get how people could hate it. Of course Game Freak is going to do something with Pikachu. It's their mascot. That's like telling Disney to stop showing off the ears. Plus, this form is basically just a thank you present to the people that played Let's Go Pikachu last year, so it's not like it's taking the spot of a wild Gigantamax raid battle, so it's all good. Now this Meowth really is interesting. It's kind of a mixed bag, as I've seen people show a lot of love for how goofy this thing is, as well as people get up in arms about it just being a long cat. And I guess I can maybe see why some people might think that's dumb, but in all honesty, I love it when they get a little goofy with their designs. To me, it shows that they're trying to have fun with the designs, but also it seems to be based on a Japanese meme of someone stretching out their cat, so it technically has some kind of lore. Now, I really do love Eevee, but I will say that Gigantamax form feels a little plain compared to the rest. People have said that it's supposed to be a callback to its original look, just like Gigantamax Pikachu. I guess I kind of see what they mean, but it's not as obvious as Pikachu's. Either way, I do like it. I just wish it could have been a bit more wild looking. So now that I'm done talking about the new forms, there are just a few more tidbits of information about Gigantamax raid battles. It wasn't in the most recent trailer, but Pokemon did upload to their website that as time goes on, certain Gigantamax Pokemon will be easier to find in raid battles. From release until sometime in January, Gigantamax Butterfree will be easier to find in both versions, while Dreadnought will be easier to find in Sword, and Corviknight will be easier to find in Shield. I definitely think this is pretty interesting, and look forward to seeing how common it is to find these Pokemon. I imagine it will all help a lot when it comes to shiny hunting these Pokemon, so that's potentially good news for all you shiny hunters out there. Now I'm going to briefly go over the characters we haven't gotten any new reveals since my last opinions video. My opinions haven't changed since, but there are always going to be new people on my channel, so I at least have to mention them. In short, I really do enjoy all the character designs. They just have so much personality that you can immediately feel what they're going to be like in the games even before interacting with them. Having 3 rivals is definitely nice as we get that friendly rival in Hop, that absolute jerk in Bee, and a super challenging and potentially challenging one in Marnie. Leon and Chairman Rose seem like they're up to no good in my opinion, but I guess time will tell. All I know is that I'm very doubtful Team Yellow are the true villains of this region. They just give off that goofy Team Skull vibe. Time will tell all their roles in Sword and Shield story, which is why I can only give impressions based on looks for the time being. I can't really say much more than that, so I'm just going to move on to the next section. So naturally, one of the biggest selling points of these games are all the new features. Game Freak has said that prioritizing the national decks in the past forced them to scrape features. So this time around they decided to give us the old switcheroo, so to speak, and from what I've seen so far, I feel it was worth it. People can complain about the national decks all they want, but if getting rid of it means we get more ways to play Pokemon and gives us more replayability, I'm all in. Not even just replayability though, as just small quality of life changes can make for a better playing experience. The first thing we need to talk about is the wild area. This gives fans a taste of what many want, an open world Pokemon experience, and seems like it'll be pretty sizable too, being approximately the size of 2 Breath of the Wild regions. The cycling weather, variety of Pokemon, camping with friends, and of course the max raid battles. All this just feels so good, and I can honestly imagine myself getting lost for hours in the wild area. Of all things that need to be continued in future Pokemon titles, it's a concept of an open world area for people to just lose themselves in. And who knows, maybe the constructive feedback players give Game Freak will result in Pokemon games becoming more open in the future once they get a better feel for console hardware. Next, we have to talk about max raid battles. While yes, I do think the concept of Dynamax is just okay, I'm still a big fan of having hard boss battles to partake in, and the fact that you can do them with your friends is even better. And there seem to be big rewards for participating in max raid battles, as you can get Pokemon with hidden abilities, Gigantamax Pokemon, and now loot. That's right, in the most recent trailer, we see new items called Exp Candies, which vary in size and give different amounts of experience. In the trailer, they show an XL candy giving a level 51 Zweilous almost 3 levels worth of experience. That's absolutely nuts. Just imagine what that will do for a lower level Pokemon. And the way you'll be getting your hands on these candies is by completing a max raid battle. Well, getting those candies alone is enough to be excited about. Imagine if we could get other valuable items from these battles, like big nuggets or relics. It would make money grinding so much easier, so I really hope that we can get a variety of items to earn. Pokemon Camp is this generation's refresh, and it looks better than ever. Rather than just playing with one Pokemon at a time, you get to play with your entire party. In addition to that, you can camp with your friends and all their Pokemon, which I just think adds on to that deeper Pokemon journey that everyone wants to experience. Getting to make curry with your Pokemon is also another cool bonus, so I'm excited to give that a try. Overall, I'm really looking forward to using this feature. Next, I have to talk about the Rotom phone. Some people got pretty annoyed with the Rotom Dex of Alola, constantly talking and giving hints toward what to do next. I get it, that'll hopefully be toned down this gen, but in concept it actually was super useful. Using it to access the map, getting the different Rotom powers, and the picture taking feature, those are all great, and it seems Game Freak is at least continuing with the trend of making quality of life changes with Rotom phone. In addition to being our Pokedex, the Rotom phone will also provide a means of transportation, as you can use it as a bike on both land and over water. I really hope it will keep the picture function as well, because it's a phone. That's so obvious. I have a feeling it will be able to do even more than just what has been shown off, but at the very least, I'm glad to see these additions that will make traversing the region a whole lot easier. Pokejobs is very similar to Pokepelago in the sense that your box Pokemon are completely useless. You send them to do tasks, and while they're away, they can gain experience, base stat increases, or even rare items. Definitely awesome to see this concept return in these games. It also seems like customization will be getting a big increase in these games. X and Y introducing player customization was one of the best things in this series, but it always felt a little too limited in terms of options, such as clothes for boys as well as hairstyles. But from the little we've seen in Sword and Shield, I feel pretty confident we're going to have a really solid amount of options this time around when it comes to all that. And to really show off that new fashion sense and personality, we have the introduction of League cards, which is kind of like an in-game TCG. I really do like this feature and look forward to getting as many cool looking cards as possible. I know this isn't the official name, but I'm going to refer to the Elite Four's replacement as the Elite Tournament. I've always liked the tournament format of the anime much more than the Elite Four, so now that the series is getting its own version, I couldn't be any more hyped. I'm really hoping the people you face off against changes with every playthrough, as that would really give the game solid replayability. Although it definitely will make my best team creating job a lot harder. A quick side point I want to make is that the fact that Toby Fox got to make a song for these games. His music in Undertale and Deltarune is just so good, and it's awesome to see his music make its way into Pokemon. Definitely give it a listen if you haven't already, as it's a very powerful sounding song. I can 100% imagine this being the song that plays when you face up against one of your rivals, or maybe even the champion. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing where it makes its appearance. And finally, the last thing I want to talk about are all the additional quality of life changes made to these games I think will make for a better experience. First is the experience share. Now, while I do think Game Freak should have given players the option to turn off the experience share, like they have in past games, I will say the modifications they've made to it are pretty solid. Before, every Pokemon that didn't participate in the battle would get 50% of the experience earned, but now it's more distributed based on the level of the Pokemon, meaning higher level Pokemon won't get over-leveled like they have in the past few generations. I think this will make things a lot more balanced and won't make the games feel as easy as they have. Again, still should have included a way to turn it off for those that would want to, but at the end of the day, I do enjoy the improvements to the system as a whole. Next, we have the spiritual successor to the PSS system, being the YCOM. While the concept of the Festival Plaza was nice, the execution left a lot to be desired. But just as Charmin Ultra commercials tell me, less is more. The simplicity of just opening up a menu and doing what you want to do without the extra hoops and hurdles is really appreciated. But to add on to it is the return of Wonder Trade as surprise trade. And instead of having to wait around for a person to trade with, everything can be done in the background, allowing you to continue your journey. Game Freak have also introduced autosave for the first time, which is definitely a nice option for people that don't particularly care about saving before battles or stop saving for shinies. And you do have the option to turn it on or off, but know that it is turned on by default, so you'll want to make sure it's on the setting you'd prefer. Returning from the Let's Go games is the option to access your Pokemon box from pretty much anywhere. You won't be able to do this in areas like gyms, but that's understandable. I wish this feature would have been around when HM slaves were still a thing, but better late than never, I guess. One small thing Game Freak has changed of nicknaming is that you'll have the chance to nickname a Pokemon you get from a trade, so long as it doesn't already have one. Apparently you only have one chance to do this, which feels like a minor nuisance, but at the end of the day, it's better than nothing. And the final quality of life changes come from the competitive side of things, making it much easier for people to get into. Sun and Moon brought us bottle caps, which allowed a Pokemon's IVs to be maxed out, on the surface anyhow. Well, that trend continues here with being able to change the properties of a Pokemon's nature with mints. It doesn't actually change your Pokemon's nature, but acts if it does. It's kind of weird that it just doesn't change it, but all that really matters is that it reflects how you want the Pokemon to act when it comes to stat growth. They've also made it easier to EV train as you can max out EVs of supplements, where in the past you could only bump it up to 100 max. And finally, when it comes to breeding, parents can now pass egg moves between each other, so long as they have open spots. All these tiny changes, I feel, are really going to open the floodgates for new players to enter the competitive scene, which is definitely a plus for me. Overall, I'm really excited about everything these games have to offer, and I think they're going to be real top tier games. And fortunately, it's the 15th, which means I no longer have to wait. Well, that wraps up my final thoughts on Pokemon Sword and Shield from everything we've seen. The games are in hand by now, and I'm sure I'm having a blast as this video was mostly positive. Now sure, these games aren't going to be without their faults, as no game is flawless, but I truly do believe that Pokemon Sword and Shield are probably going to be some of my favorite games. What do y'all think though? What are your first impressions of Sword and Shield? Definitely let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, why not leave a like and subscribe to my channel with notifications on, that way you never miss an upload. If you want to support me further, consider following my Twitch where I stream a lot of Pokemon content and all kinds of other Nintendo content like Zelda, Fire Emblem, and much more. Want to support me further in Game Call Perks? Check out my Patreon. Daniel Leone, Lady Crimson, Memory Martin, The Lazy Leo, Matthew Young, Awesome Lega, Jarrett Weiss Austin, Sodden Grider, and Enigma97 did, and I want to thank them personally for going above and beyond. It means the world to me. I think I'm gonna wrap this up though. I'm Mystic Umbrian, and I will see you in the future for more awesome Pokemon content.